evening, everybody. Steve has had an award ceremony for Sarah. She's getting presented something really cool at school, and he'll be joining us in a short while. Let me share the screen if I can find the agenda right here. Can you see the agenda?
Yes.
Okay. It's going to be simple in terms of numbers, but couldn't take a long time, and we may want to divide it up. But we have our typical questions for our experts like Freddie and Rick and others, and then John's going to do a demonstration on the Seti-Astro tools, and they're getting, the list of them is getting bigger every day, and then we had a request with Rick and Ann to do an actual a demonstration of processing some of the work that Brent had taken on Alberto's telescope. At the time I made the agenda, it looked like the Tarantula Nebula was going to be our target, but the quality of the data was not good enough because Brent didn't have enough time on it. So we chose NGC 67, 23, 26 in that area, and we'll do that, and then we'll work on the future agenda items. So let me stop sharing, and okay, we got at least one new person here. Are there any questions you might have? Anybody that we can ask the group and pick the brains of these smart people? Okay. All righty. Well, maybe it's going to go quicker than I thought. Well, there's Kelly. She just joined us. So wait until she gets signed on here. Okay. 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 Brina, do you want to just speak it or I can read what you put in the chat. If I can, maybe. What are some devices used for taking pictures of space? Okay. Somebody want to?
Eyeballs.
Do what?
Eyeballs.
Oh, that's one. Where are you at, Brina? Are you just starting out, or what's your question for telescopes, or? Don't mean to put you on the spot. We actually are pretty friendly here.
Well, some of us are.
Well, oh, okay. Okay. Okay.
If she's speaking, she's still muted. So
yeah, you may be talking, Brina, but your microphone's off. Okay, just everybody see the
yeah.
Anybody want
You
to
can
take?
get you you can get your little phone holder and put it on the tripod and just point it up into whatever location you want, and start playing with the camera settings to try to go a couple seconds, and
Hey, Steve is back.
probably a little bit higher ISO on it or whatever, and just see what you can play with, and maybe try to see if you can get the moon, get it in focus, take a picture of the moon, maybe zoom in a little bit. Start out with the camera on your phone. I mean, you can graduate to like a DSLR or any other like homemade, homegrown camera, whatever you got laying around the house that you start playing with and work up from there.
Steve, did you see the question? It was before you got here, probably.
No, I just got in.
Yeah, Brina, a brand new member, asked a question: what kind of camera to take images of space? She's just starting out.
I always recommend any DSLR.
So any kit lens will work. start out with. You can get the 18 to 55 with the Canon, or you can go the 75-300 and just with a little tripod, throw it on the back patio. I did that a little bit here and there.
Yeah.
Just work on getting focus. That's the hardest part. You got to do more of a manual focus. You could do an autofocus on the moon and then turn the autofocus off, and then spin it around to any location. As long as you don't change your field of view or the focus of it, or the you're at 75 millimeters on your camera lens, you don't want to change that to anything higher once you got autofocus set. Turn the autofocus off, otherwise you're going to lose focus on it.
Yeah.
But just play in the backyard with the camera settings and get really, really frustrated and
And you go
throw
on
it out in the yard. And
It's a good time to get into the hobby because Orion is coming.
yeah, that's always
Yeah.
the best object. But Freddie, you had said, you said take, I can't read what you said there.
I misspelled. It's images.
Images. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. I think everybody's saying about the same thing there. Kelly, you're the fairly new one. Do you have any questions of this Gus group?
go.
Yeah, you're muted. You are muted. You need to take it off mute.
Yeah, button in the bottom left.
Well, you hope they got a microphone.
Well, maybe you had to do what Brina did, just type it down.
Mhm. Mhm.
Hey, while she's typing, I just wanted to clarify on the question, like what kind of devices do we use to take pictures of space? Most of the stuff that you see in the Slack group or Instagram, Facebook, most of that's taken with like a telescope and a DSLR or dedicated Astro camera. So if you wanted to get into imaging kind of cheap, you just like of like the moon and stuff, you could get a telescope and mount, and you could just use a DSLR, and then you can get some pretty good images with that if you want to take a step up from phone pictures.
Okay. I can't tell if Kelly's typing or not.
Yeah, I think she can't figure out how to unmute it. It's okay.
I've been using Zoom for years and I still can't figure out how to do it often.
I'm gonna be walking outside periodically to see if I can see anything. I mean, I am in a Bortle 9, but you never know.
Jeremy and Brian went out to Astroflats tonight to see if they can see Aurora.
Well, they'll be lucky. I don't think it got down far enough south.
So
Well, the last time they was here, I was in the middle of doing a polar alignment. And I couldn't get it going and stuff like that, and I was getting frustrated. And it's like back and forth, and nothing. It's like, what the hell's going on? Can't plate solve. And I was moving the scope around. It's like, I finally looked up and going, holy shit, it's all red. No wonder.
no wonder.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay. Well, no, there's something showed up in the chat here. Yeah, okay. Kelly's having trouble with. Okay. All right, that's okay. Okay.
Keith is.
Hi, Michael. Oh, I hear something.
Hello, sorry, I joined and it was not on mute by default.
No worries.
Okay. Do we want to move on? We can break in or in between the presentations, we can take more questions. Okay, I know John always does very professional presentations, and I don't think this is going to be any exception. So those of you who haven't seen and used the Seti-Astro tools, they're amazing. And I haven't used but a couple of three of them. Are you going to cover the whole suite?
I'm not trying to. I got 46 slides to go through,
Oh, good, good.
but they'll go fairly quickly. Then when they get to the demo stuff here and there.
Okay. Well, the second part of the meeting tonight, if we want to take the time, or we can do is start on it and finish it next month. But is the image that, like I said, Brent took, and Steve's going to show us how to do the WBPP setup and run. And then we were going to take it from that output, which is a mosaic, and then take it till finish. So, all right, John, you're up. You can you should be able to take control of the screen.
Hopefully that's the right one. Yep. Now let me get my telescope out. All right, Seti-Astro script, and he keeps adding to them, and he just added one yesterday, I think, or day before. So I had to go through and add that into the list.
Which one did he have? Which one did
He's
he?
cranking them out, John. He's doing a
Oh,
great
no.
job.
You know, you'll see here. So, how to get built into, how to get voluntold. Yeah, how to get selected. You put stuff in the math Slack channel, and you're gonna
There
get
you
selected
go.
to do something.
Yay.
You can get,
I pick on John a lot, but it's a compliment.
you twist your arm, he'll rip it off, beat you with it until you submit to do it. Yep. So we got Seti-Astro scripts. These all were pretty much written by Franklin Merritt. He's down in Louisiana somewhere, I think toward the middle coastal area. So this is going to be a quick overview of all the scripts he's been creating, and might be in alphabetical order, could be might be in the order he actually put it out on his website. But you got a suite of scripts. You can go to setiastro.com for his main website. You can go, there's a TJSR dash scripts. Give you a listing of stuff. You can import them into your repository, so they'll bring most of them down. There's one that won't be in there at all. It's a standalone. That's the last one he just added. You got to have PixInsight build 1605. I think the latest version with the build 1605 or higher needed for the repository. And then you can also download the scripts manually. You've got zip files from all, and you can manually install them. And if you don't want the whole suite, if you just want a few here and there. He's also got his set of process icons out there if you want to download those. All you got to do is drag it over into PixInsight. It'll show them all. So we got scripts for PixInsight. This is a quick little list. He's got star stretch, narrowband to RGB star combination tools, statistical stretch, fine background preview, automatic continuum subtraction, autodynamic background extraction, which is called ADVE, mask merge utility, cosmic clarity. One of his new ones. He has now got he started out with a sharpening side, and now he's having denoise.
Really? Is that the brand new ones?
That's not the newest one. The newest one is the What's in My Sky, which is the bottom right over there. It's a standalone program. He just did that one yesterday. I saw the video and it's like, what? And I had to go back and do screenshots of that one too. So, but he's got the freehand adaptive mask editor, which he calls Fame. So you can basically draw on your image whatever you want to make a mask out of it. He's got What's in My Image script, and he's got a Halo Be Gone, the Blemish Blaster. There's a content aware healing tool. It's got its pros and cons I've figured out. Really good though. Got the AstroMark signature adder. So if you got a signature you want to put on your image, it's a little bit more intuitive to use this one, and got a little more features that you really don't find anywhere else without having to go to like a professional program or something, or into Photoshop or whatever. Astro depth image enhancer. He's got an object SNR calculation, and he's also got a blind solver 2000, plus the what's in my sky. And this is like the latest little Pix Insight script list he's got that'll show up in the tools under script, under Seti-Astro tools. He's on the little list there showing. So auto DBE. So what it is, he's got, this is version, he's actually above version 1.4 now. This is a screenshot I took off his webpage. I think it's a little bit higher. I think it's 1.6. Well, we can play. So basically what this does is it's a script to use gradient descent to define points with custom weighting and rejection algorithms to automatically run DBE to remove gradients in astronomy images. So when you watch it run, you'll see it's going to do an automatic background extraction like ABE that Pix Insight has. And he uses that to get a gradient, and then he'll measure that gradient to get the points he wants to use, and he'll throw those into dynamic background extraction to do the after extraction out for the gradient. So it's actually kind of a 2 or 3 step process. And there's got the zip file on his website, and he's also you get a little video right there. You can go watch the video part of it. You can hit when you hit the web page, it's got a video for most of the stuff. You got find background, which is basically you can mark spots off where you know the background should not be, and you can exclude areas. You can include areas, only one little spot. Just hit execute or search, and it'll go out there and do like 40 different points, and it will figure out where the background is in his little slopey stuff he was using. And what it'll do, it'll go back to your picture and mark a little bitty box and have a preview selected with named background. You'll see that. And he's got several videos on it. He's kind of updated as he went to what he could do.
Before you go on, have you done anything other than the default settings on the DBE and any of them?
Some of them I have played around with them a little bit more in depth. The DBE, when he's got a really much, just right out of the box, click it, let it do its stuff. Haven't really played with it a whole lot. It just works. I'm good. But I have noticed like Graspert's now got they're a little bit better with AI based on background extractions, and they've got a denoise as well that they're using. But find background comes in handy. So if you want to do your color calibration, you need to find a little spot of background, so you can put it into your SCC, whatever it is, your spectrographic photo color calibration, SPCC it is.
I think so.
Yeah, so I mean, you can use this tool to find your background, then go to that tool and then add that into for your background area and then run that. He's got a statistical stretch. This is pretty much, he's got 2 different settings here that he suggests, like a 0.10, he says a good start out for if you got a galaxy or a planetary nebula. If you got a nebula that's still in the whole screen, then you want to start around 0.25. And then you got a automatic convergence on it. I have no clue what the hell it does. All I know is it makes it run a whole lot longer. And then it's got a curves boost, so you can basically, so once it does a stretch, it's almost like now you went into curves, it went to the, and it's basically boosted the colors up a little bit. You can do that from here if you want. You don't have to, but you can. Then you can play with the preview all day, and then you hit execute when it looks pretty good, and it'll get your image and pretty much do the initial stretch stuff for it. A lot of times it comes out really good. Sometimes not so much. Most of the time it does. And you can just go back, tweak the settings, and then try again. Star stretch, same thing. Except for if you basically started out and extracted your stars out from your nebula picture or whatever. So now you got a starless image and you got your stars. Then you got star stretch and do the same exact thing pretty much. And I don't think I really messed with any of the settings here. What you see right here is I just pretty much executed on the image. And it comes out really damn good.
Steve, you said you used that before having.
Yeah, I got to the point, John, where I exclusively use that. I rip the stars out of and I keep in the linear state.
Yeah, that's what I usually do. Before I need to stretch this. Let me dump the stars out now, because then I'll do this afterwards. I've been using my Antlia filter here for my last little project. So you get narrowband RGB stars, and what that will do is it'll take your narrowband images. I use the one-shot color. I don't have a monochrome camera that do the filter, so I basically go in and specify one-shot color dual band image, select my my stars image that I just took out, and then I usually apply a star stretch to it and hit execute, and it will convert you from your, like, most of mine's gonna be hydrogen alpha and O3 because it's a dual band filter.
And
And
Okay.
it'll change that color over to much of a RGB color set. It is really good. I was like, yes,
so
I'd pay money for this.
I'm gonna have to try. I'm gonna have to try that.
so
Yeah.
you do an HOO image and you get RGB stars.
Yep.
And
And
they
sometimes they come out better than my RGB stars I did when I did the regular filter. Like, I'm gonna stick with this.
Man, this industry's changing fast.
it is.
Yep. So if you've got a full narrowband set with the monochrome, if you got HAO3 and S2 or S2, you just select those three and just hit execute. I'm assuming they do the same thing. I don't have those, so I couldn't test that part of it, but I can do the other.
Well, Rick, you were talking about the one-shot color. And you have the I assume the dual band filters for the light pollution. No, I lose Rick.
Can you hear me?
I can now. Yeah,
Okay.
You were asking about the one-shot colors.
Yes, and I have dual band. I don't have the 3-band filter, but I do have a dual band.
Which dual band do you got?
Optimum, enhance, I think. Yeah, enhance L.
You got the L enhance. I got that one.
L. Yeah.
I got the L enhance, and I was gonna go to like the L extreme and L ultimate, but it's like I've seen a lot of things on there that get a little more halo, so I went with the Antlia dual band, which is the HA03, and I'm gonna get its partner. And actually, they got a newer one now because mine's 5 nanometer bandwidth for both. And they've got a 3 nanometer one they just came out with, and I plan on getting the other companion to it, which is S2 and hydrogen beta. It's almost like the other part of your when you look at the L enhanced filter you have in the blue area, you actually have hydrogen beta and then O3 a little bit in that area. This kind of cuts that O3 part off, so you can end up with 4 different things that you can combine and play with.
Cool.
Yeah, but yeah, it'll do the same thing. It'll work them pretty good. Blemish Blaster. It's a this one is voodoo
Dylan.
magic, and sometimes it's I mean, you have the clone stamp in PixInsight, which has, I mean, it does good. It's just that you're looking at, if you're going to do inside a nebula here, it becomes like very apparent that you just did some weird crap with it with the clone stamp. And with the clone stamp, you're stuck with the circle up to, I think, 255 in size. You know, you can go down to little mini all the way up, and then you're using another part of the area to clone to that spot you got your circle's going to be covering over. This here, you could use a circle. You can also now use a freehand. You can draw your own little freehand area, and it will. What it is, it's what makes it content aware. He basically internally in the script, he's got like 6 circles he puts around your main circle, and he looks at the best 3 spots that will match what's inside your circle to pull the data from that to combine into what you're trying to get rid of. You know, so the video, when you look at, he's got that little bitty lens flare right there, and it just disappears, and you don't even know it was even there. Holy crap. And it also, you can actually do it per channel as well. So you can do a red channel, a green channel, a blue channel independently. And so that's actually pretty cool. But it does have its limitations, especially in the galaxies. If you get too close to the galaxy with your circle, you might copy part of that galaxy into the area that you're trying to get rid of. And so it's the same thing with clone stamp. You get too close, you'll end up with other artifact that you didn't want. That's the other part of the picture and stuff. So you still got to be able to be careful with it. But it does do some voodoo magic within some of the nebulae.
Yeah, John, I got some old stuff where I don't have proper flats, and now I'm going to try to reprocess because of that tool.
Yep. And you also got Halo Begone, which is it's a deconvolution tool that he goes in, and what it does is you look at your star halos and you just run this. You got a newer version, so it's got like a really low, a medium, a high, and a real high, whatever. So we'll see that because I got them all. You can do it with linear data or nonlinear data, and it will go through and it really does is just shrink your stars a little bit, and you'll see the halos get shrunk down. And you can go to a little bit, or you can go to really extreme to the point where you look a little pinpoint. So it's one of those things you just want to like play with, execute it. Didn't like that, undo, try a different setting, do it again, and it's fairly quick, so it's not too bad.
You see
So
Rick's,
you know,
you see Rick's questions down there.
I don't see none of it.
Oh, he asked what kind of tools are there, and they're Seti-Astro, and they're free. And
Yep.
he said he missed the very first part of it, which is really,
Oh yeah,
these are fabulous tools.
yeah. You can go to the website, and when you go to the website, you can go there. He's got a little menu on the top left there, and you can click any one of those, and you can get a full list of his Pix Insight tools. You can get them individual, and they're all free for now. I'm assuming they're going to be. He says a lot of his videos says it's free for life. But you never know when the bug hits you. Like I need to get some money. So some of these I actually would buy. Automatic continuum subtraction. This here is another one. I've been trying to play with this one earlier today. It's I don't know if people have dealt with when you deal with continuum subtraction, what you're trying to do is you're trying to isolate like HA data, you're trying to isolate your O3 data or S2 data, and you're trying to get rid of anything in your any overlap from red, green, and blue that might bleed in. So when you look at a true monochrome, you're looking at a filter, your O3 filter, you might get a little bit of light leak. And if you look at your curve profile for, okay, I got a 3 nanometer O3 filter, well, look where it's at. You might be off a little bit to the left, you might be off a little bit to the right, so it might pick up a little extra stray signal in that little band area. And this will help try to get rid of that. If you have like I have a color camera, and I'm using a dual narrowband filter, I have red, green, and blue all over, but even though my filter is only for HA and O3, but the camera sensor, since it has a Bayer matrix, it's got red, green, and blue in there. So you do get a little bit of red, green, and blue signal across the whole board. Because when you look at your camera profile, you'll see the red channel goes up and comes down, and then you got the blue channel goes up and down, green channel goes up and down. And you'll see where they overlap and stuff, and they'll run the whole spectrum of what you got from from your 400 nanometer up to 800 and 850, whatever. And what you're trying to do is take the minimal red, green, and blue and remove it out of your actual signal, so you end up with just a pure O3 signal or a pure HA signal. And if you ever look into it, you'll see that it's a lot of work to do. And now he's pretty much got it down to where you do a little bit of minimal stuff, put them in here, click a button, and sit back and wait. And next thing you know, he'll pop up, 2 or 3 images that are, almost pretty much the pure signal that whatever you can go by. Mask merge utility. So this one here, you can take up to 3 masks, and you can merge them by way of a union, intersect, or subtract. So if you got you're trying to isolate blue, but you also got cyan color, so you can take a cyan mask of your image, and then take a blue mask of your image, and you can go over here, this mask merge tool, and basically select both of those, union, add them together, and just basically execute. So it'll take both of those masks and create another one with both of them. Or you can subtract one from the other. I mean, there's quite a bit you can do. And now you can do up to 3 at one time. And you got freehand adaptive mask editor, so you can go through and just select whatever you want to make a mask out of it. It's kind of like the game script where you can go through and just build around whatever you want to make a mask. This is kind of the same thing. You can go through and select areas. You can select like rectangles, ellipses, spray can effect. You got a brush, or you can do the freehand. So you can basically go through and just circle a bunch of stars and stuff, and say that's when you circle all your bright stars and make a mask from that, just to max those out and stuff. And pretty much everything he's got a preview to it. So.
But the spray can lets you get weird large areas.
Yeah, it's like he's got an example right there in the middle bottom where you can see like a little trail line that's kind of squiggly. That's looks like that's the spray can. It could be over the one that looks like a circle. I haven't really played with that a whole lot. I mean, I did a quick thing to see if it worked, looks good, then okay, moving on.
I like it better in game, John.
Yeah. I haven't really played with. I mean, I have played the game script some. Most times I have a different set of color masks I've gotten, pixel math that will go through if I need a red, green, and blue, yellow, cyan, purplish color. But I haven't really had a need to go through and just try to pick out some weird thing to do with, but then it works. It's pretty good. And what's in my image script? Now this one here this can take a while to run because you specify a region area, then within that region, you draw a little circle, and then you can go through on the right side and you can pick what you're trying to look for. So you can click over here, like you want to click, if there's any white dwarfs in that circle, you click a little white dwarf spot, and then you can go through and you can, it'll go through and give you a listing of what it found by way of white dwarfs or any other thing, variable stars. There's a long ass list of stuff you can put in. It just takes a little bit longer to run. The more you want to find out about it, the more it's going to run. It's going to give you a whole lot more detail than a lot of other stuff out there that gives you, because he's using the Simbad libraries to pull the info. AstroMark signature adder. So this one, basically you have your signature or you have whatever you want. Most of the time when you use within PixInsight, you try to add it to it. It just basically overlays the whole thing onto your image, and then you can't do anything with it. Well, this here allows you to basically go in and you can take the signature size, you can shrink it down, you can rotate it around, you can kind of fade it down to where it's not, occupancy of it. It's really let more of the background through, and place it anywhere you want on your image. You can put it in the bottom left corner, bottom right corner, middle, top left, top right, anywhere you want, and you shrink it down to whatever size you want. So it makes life a little easier if you ever mark your astro images. I don't really mark my astro images. I figure there's enough people have done so much stuff out there. I'm repeating some of their work, so it's like I haven't gained anything worthy of saying I got to protect this and put my name on it. And you have Astro Depth Image Enhancer. So it's basically, I don't know, this is kind of like similar to the Orton effect that I don't know if you've seen around. What it's trying to do is
What kind of
brighten the image area. Orton effect. This is kind of similar to that. It could be his little take on it, to where try to make it a little more glowy, So every time I'm running it, sometimes it makes the image worse than it is. Sometimes it makes it look pretty cool, but it's like sometimes it might get a little more artsy on, like somebody painted it. So it's one of those you just have to play with and see. You have like the strength effect, and that's pretty much all the setting you have to play with. So it's either going to brighten up really good, or you sort of brighten and darken the dark areas and brighten the brighter areas and stuff. Object SNR calculation. This is, you want to see the demo, it's pretty much right there. You basically load it up, select your script or your picture you want, and you gotta have two different previews. So you create a preview over like a background area, you create a preview over a white area. And then basically put those in there and just hit calculate it, and on the right middle section there, that's what pops up on the command line stuff. You'll see channel 0, 1, and 2, and it gives you the decibel strength on the signal. It's like knock yourself out. Blindsauber 2000, I haven't tried because you gotta have an astrometry.net client. You need to log in, so you got to get an API key, and then it will perform a full blind solve on it. You have to get an account to get.
Once you get an account, it's right there in your profile. It's easy to do.
Yeah, well, I don't have it.
Okay. Right.
I haven't really had a need for it, but for those who have it, you get your API key, you throw your API key in there, and you can perform the full image solver from the astrometry.net without having to go out separately to do it.
But it's free. It's a free process.
Yeah. Cosmic Clarity. This is his version. He said he threw his hat in the ring with one of the videos. It's basically this is like Blur Exterminator. And so this will go through and deconvolute your stars and sharpen up a little bit of your other detail. And he has like little on his web page, you go out there and you can move the little slider things here. So left side is before, right side is after. Then you got over here left before and after. And you can slide these back and forth and see how well it works. And he's building he's got a neural net based sharpening. What are you trying to do? And he's telling you up front, if you got BlurX, you got the gold standard. His is not going to be as perfect as that or as good as that, but at least it's doing something. If you don't own Blur Exterminator, I mean, it does work. It is a little bit of a trick to it. And if you don't have your system set up to use your graphics card, your CUDA cores, you're gonna have a problem running it because it will eventually time out. He's got like a 5-minute timeout, and what it does is it'll take your image and it'll save it as a TIFF file, puts it in his little input folder, runs his process on it separately. PixInsight script is sitting there waiting for the output file to show up. And he's giving it like a 5-minute window. So if the process in the background doesn't finish within 5 minutes, the PixInsight side times out and nothing happens. So if you've got your graphics accelerator, basically your TensorFlow going, and you've got the graphics card to do all that, it'll complete on time. It'll work. But if you don't, it might be hit and miss. And he's got his AI. He's been training his AI with a lot of little pictures and stuff for different things. And right now it's about 2.5 gig in size. And you download that. He's updating his libraries because it's more active. This one here has been updated 3 or 4 times in the past couple of weeks. And then he went ahead and added, well, let's do the denoise side now.
Yeah.
So now he's got cosmic clarity, AI-based denoise. So the same thing right on the same page for cosmic clarity, you'll see right below the first two, you'll see these two here. And you can pull the little slider left and right, and you'll see where it's denoising the image. Left side's before, right side's back. And it's not as good as Noise Exterminator, but in looking at it and what it did, when I finally got it to work, it's pretty close to Grasspert's. They have a denoise within their little tool now as well. And they're fairly close. I'd probably choose this one over the Grasspert, but it also depends on what type of image you got, how noisy it really is. And it's the same thing. If you don't have the CUDA cores running properly, it's got to save it as a TIFF file, process the TIFF, then it'll save it the TIFF, and he'll take that TIFF and add it back in to overwrite your image basically on the screen. So if it times out, it's timed out. You're not going to be able to get past that. So definitely you want to have your graphic accelerator configured on it.
I would suspect Russell Croman is not happy with him doing this.
Well, I don't know, because the Noise Exterminator is still a lot better than that. If you already own Noise Exterminator, you want to play with it and see how well this one does, you'll find that it's lacking in a lot of areas compared to Noise Exterminator. It's not as fast as Noise Exterminator. One thing, plus he is still constantly updating as he goes. I mean, it might eventually get to the point where Russell might be a little upset, but he ain't there yet, but he's slowly moving the needle farther and farther every day. So this is the instruction set left side. You got this is separate. He's got it. It's not on there. When you go to his page to show the PixInsight scripts, the cosmic clarity is not listed. He has a separate page right next to up there on the top left corner. You see a cosmic clarity link, and that's what he'll pop up to get this. And this is where you have to go install it separately. The back end piece that PixInsight will use. So you'll get the front end piece in the PixInsight script when you get the repository, but you got to have the back end companion piece for his sharpening and denoise tools that they call to do the process. Go out there, his Google Drive, you can download it. And he's got several videos on it. He's finally got a Mac version going. Now he's actually got a Linux version on it, and then you got the latest models of the different library sets he's been working on for his AI. So. And what's in my sky? This is, I think, the last one that he just updated. He just brought out yesterday. And so this is complete standalone program. It doesn't, it's not within PixInsight at all. It's just basically you just install it, punch into your latitude, longitude, and what he's trying to do is, I want to know what's in like tonight. I could punch in where my telescope's sitting on the back patio, the date of it, time frame, your time zone. He's got 6 different catalogs right now. He's got like over, I forgot how many images. It's got a little companion Excel file that has all the data in it. And he's got a script to go through. And so depending on what catalog you want to reference, you can reference, if you've referenced all 6, it's going to take a while to run. If you reference this Messier object, he'll bring up a list of all the Messier objects to where the time you chose, that's where it'd be closest to the median, your meridian above you. So at 2200, his list here is what's going to be above him in the sky, and it gives you like offset times as well. So this would be, a little bit before, a little bit after time frame, and so you can see, oh, maybe I might do M20 tonight, or M30, or M52. In case you don't know, you get tired of looking stellarium to see what's good tonight, what's going to be here, just to kind of help you out a little bit. So yeah, he just released this. I'm pretty sure there'll probably be some updates coming on it as well. And let's do some. We can do some demos here. This is like slide 45. So try to get some of these done. I don't know if some of these may not work. Like Cosmic Theory does take a while to run. What time is it now? It's 7:41. So a lot of them go fairly quickly. And then we have lovely questions afterwards. But don't get scared. But I have my notebook with pics inside on it. I think you can see that. And I've also got my workstation, which now finally finished. And let's go over to my notebook. So this here is IC 405 panel 3. I've been doing a 4-panel mosaic of the flaming star nebula region. So this is panel 3. This is what it looks like. And I shot this actually with the Ellen Hans filter last night instead of the ant lamp filter. Trying to experiment with the other thing. So normally you would go in, I went ahead and I cropped around it after you fully stack it, cropped it, get rid of the edge artifacts and stuff because I did it all night. And this is it's 4 hours, 45 minutes. And each one of these is 900 seconds. So that's 15-minute sub, and so it makes up 4 hours and 45 minutes. So normally you would get your image, crop it. Now you want to do the background. It's kind of fun. So you can go to Script, Seti-Astro, and you can do the automatic DVE, and it'll pop up. It's now version 1.6. So I basically leave everything the way it is. You can do a preview of it, but then it ends up running twice. I just hit execute, and it will start. So it does, you'll see it on the side if you go quick enough to do an automatic background extraction, and it pulls a model of its background. It gets extracted to be able to find the points it needs to use for your regular dynamic background extraction. And then he does this little stats on it and stuff. I think it just pretty much just saves you the time to go through and click a bunch of points and stuff if you're trying to manually do it for the background. And the gradient is removed. So here's your gradient it took out. And that's what's left over. So we had that. Now we're down to that. I believe I did a image solver on it. This might take a minute. This is not one of his scripts. I'm not going to process this image all the way from beginning to end. It's just pretty much show you what the tools will do. and certain things you got to have to make work. I mean, and right now I could probably used the blind solver 2000 blind solve it, and I think it adds the coordinates, and the same thing as you do is your image solver.
The image that Steve and I are going to do later, you'll probably help us with some of these tools then.
I'm also sitting over here getting my telescope ready to go. So I just stacked this image half hour before the meeting started. So there we go. So you did the background extraction. I would probably do a blur X correct before. It's usually the correction only on it. But should do that before the blind solve, or plate solving, but it's still. So it's basically tighten up all your little stars and make them all round. If you got any weird oblong ones, you can and yes, my graphics card is not the fastest in the world.
Did you say these are 15-minute subs?
Yeah.
Quite good.
Yeah, this one, the mosaic, I'm for the flaming star and around it, I'm looking probably around 20 hours per panel, trying to get
Getting
the
serious.
Wolf. Yeah, well, no, the serious one's the Wolf Rayet star that I've already showed a couple shots on.
Yeah, that's cool.
I'm trying to get up to 100 hours on it just for S&Gs. Right. Yeah, and right now, after I go through all my subs to figure out which ones are good or bad, I'm around 35 hours at the moment, and I'll be collecting another 5 hours tonight. I'm getting put to the point where I'm getting past Groundhog Day, and I'm getting to the point in Office Space to beat the hell out of the printer out in the field. Come on, I need a faster graphics card. This notebook's got a P1000 Quattro card in there, so it met the requirements for to work with the TensorFlow stuff. Now we go to script. Let's go to Seti. Let's go down to find the background. And just the way it is, let's see what it finds. I mean, granted, if you know the background there, you can go select it yourself a lot faster, but and you got a lot of nebula plates. Do you really select the background or parts of nebulas? So it creates like a 40 grid layout. It'll go through each one to find the slope and who's got the actual background spot, who's got the best one, and then you'll see it pop up over here. The background it found, close that. So it actually found it right in the middle of the nebula. Grid placement. So let's say you don't want that. Back to the script. And now I want a user defined exclusionary.
So you didn't want that because it's too dark? I mean, I'm just curious what.
Well, it picked the cloud over here that could be either a lot of dust and stuff, or it could actually be background, but I'm not sure because it's right down the middle of the nebula. So take the chance and use it, or go through and you can basically pick out what you want. So you can mark multiple areas. Just hit the shift key and just drag and create a box. So I'm trying to say, don't search in that area there whatsoever. Hit search again. So it'll take the areas you mark as an excluded area. So, and
So
sometimes
John,
I find
what is the value of this? How's this going to help us?
well, what it is for this here, not so much for this nebula because it's over in this one little corner. But when you've got like, you look at, you're in the Crescent Nebula, you got all that HA in the background all over the place.
Right.
Where do you find the background? You're gonna, once you do your screen transfer stretch and look, I mean, you can search around, you might be able to find a little piece here or there. I just let it do it and figure it out. So it does a pretty good job. So you just basically click and find you a background. And then the next step is going to be the SPCC because it wants a background reference to do the color calibration.
So that's where you use it then.
Yeah. So any tool that you have that needs a background preview, just you can use this tool to get your background preview marked, and it labels it as background. And then you can go to the other tool to be able to, okay, this is my background, put it in here for that. So if you did like background neutralization, it wants a piece of the background. And you would click, let this run, and find your background, put it in your little tool, then run that tool on it afterwards.
So I
There's
guess
background.
the logical question, is it worth the effort?
Yeah.
You-
So now see, it's found the background over here outside of my low excluded area.
Yeah, okay.
And then I increase a little bitty piece. There you go. Pretty
Ah.
close to that. We'll go with that. This thing takes forever. SPCC, breaches of interest, preview, background. Okay. I didn't use my antler filter. I'm gonna leave it as a UVIR cut. I don't think I have my L-enhance sets in here. So just run that. And everybody's seen this. Hopefully they've done the spectrophotographic photometric color calibration. That's a mouthful of words. I've done this on certain images and they end up failing. Then I got to do the back way of just do the background enhance, and then the color calibration part. And you'll notice that, yes, processing images in PixInsight sometimes is a looking like. Clear that, do this, and we get that. And that. So now if you're getting ready to, you want to stretch this, I'm going to use the stars out first. See how well this works with the L-enhance filter compared to my antler filter. When I do this process to convert from narrowband over to RGB, they look great. And this has actually been drizzled 2x as well, so it makes it look a little better. But the L-enhance one, I'm going to figure out. We're going to find out if it works really good or not. What? Imaging nice thing. .92 HF. Yeah, if I didn't have the any type of graphics card here that could do it in the background, we'd still be waiting on all of other stuff. Now you get your stars here. Let's go ahead and do the narrow band to RGB star combination.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
And since I have one shot color and I have you can go ahead and actually apply a star stretch, which will be the star utility created anyway. Execute it. And voila. Now looks like they got some color to them.
Yeah, they look great, John.
Huh.
That looks really good right there. So now if you want to see, I mean, these are fine by my book, but some people might not like the little bit of a glow around these. So then you can go up to script, you can go to Seti-Astro, and you can do the halo be gone.
Is that linear or is that stretched?
This one here, since I clicked it, it's a stretched image.
Okay.
Because like when you look at the tool, so if you click here, apply star stretch,
Mm-hmm.
it'll stretch it when it gets done converting everything over.
Gotcha.
And it's pretty much the same thing as his star stretch tool anyway. Because he's got a different one for star stretch.
Mm-hmm.
That is the same thing that he's got this kind of built in the other tool for
Right.
if you want to do that part. So I don't have to worry about doing this one. So now see how well it works with Halo Be Gone. So yeah, he's up to version 2.1 now. And you've got extra low, low, medium, and high. I've gone usually kind of extra low.
That's what I do.
If you don't have linear data, if it was linear, you can go ahead and do it. I don't have linear data now because I've already ran the thing on it, so we can execute it. And it does rename your image as NB to RGB underscore stars.
Mm-hmm.
You still got your original in the back. And he does like a multi-scale median transfer on it. So if you look now, you got so before and now after. So you shrink them down a little bit.
Yeah.
I mean, you can go more if you want. You can put it on high and it becomes, to me, it's kind of like way over sharpened or really overdone it. But some image may require that. But still pretty good.
Yeah.
Makes you a little happier. Now you don't have to go to curves as much to, up the, if you're looking at the saturation of it, you don't have to worry about none of that. Just, to me, it'll look pretty good the way they are. The old fashioned one. So then we don't need this one. I can go away. Park him. So he's still in linear state.
So it's interesting, John. He throws out the stars stretch, but he keeps this in the linear state with that command, right?
No, well, because I separated the stars out.
Okay.
Yeah, so I used Star Exterminator. They took the stars out of the nebula image, so I had two different images here.
Oh yeah. I remember using Star X. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, so got the stars out. Now I ran his narrowband to RGB. Now my star side is done. I don't have to mess with them anymore, other than to screen them back in.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I just go ahead and park them over here. So for this, you can do a blur X sharpening if you want on it. Go away. Do a default blur X on it. Make it semi-pretty. At least you can see the two little tadpoles there. Yeah, I decided to run the L-enhance filter for a few hours per panel. So I know on the flaming star nebula itself, in the middle of the when you get the bigger area before it curves over, there's actually some kind of light bluish color in there, and it's like a reflection nebula stuck on top of it.
Oh, nice.
So you don't see it with the HA or anything like that, and I haven't seen the O3 data at all pop up in the suffering. Let me throw the L-enhance on there, and I don't feel like getting out there at 1 o'clock in the morning to swap the filter when Wolf Rayet started in. So I did 4.5 hours of Wolf Rayet last night with the L-enhance. Just see what it does.
Mm-hmm.
Other than make the stars a little bit bigger. We're getting there. If I was doing the old-fashioned way with the other tool, to be still going for the desktop where I'm sharing the screen. Yeah, this is to the point where as the graphics card, it's a PCI Express 3.0 card that's in the my workstation behind me, and that's got a Quadro M2000 card in it, and it's a little bit slower than the P1000 stuck on my laptop. So I need to get like a 3060 card to throw on my main desktop, and that way I can zip through all this crap with 3000 something CUDA boards instead of a couple hundred, instead of about 700-800. All right, what do we want to do this thing next? We can come over here if you want to go into a statistical stretch, because the star stretch is a statistical stretch for the stars. Now he's got one here. It's mainly for another image. So target median. So he's got up here 1.1 good for a planetary, nebula, or galaxy. 0.25 if you got a nebula filling the screen. So I look at, well, I got a nebula over, so we can try it either way and see how it looks. So if I do 0.1, and I can refresh the preview. So it does a stretch in the background. They use a lot of temporary files and pictures in the back end that you really don't see. If you don't close the tool out, it will leave them lingering around. So that's with 0.1. And if you want to see the 0.25, we can refresh the preview. So it does it again. Apple's really poke out on that one right there. And there's the 0.25 version. Now we can throw a curves boost in. 0.24. We can refresh the preview. So we haven't done anything to the image in the background yet at all. This is all in the preview stuff within his script. So we'll run the whole routine again, do a stretch on it, and then add the color boost so your saturation gets boosted up a little bit. It makes it a little bit brighter. So that's not too bad. And you go back. Well, let's go in between 0.15. But you can sit here all day and play with this until you like the way it looks. Then click execute, it'll do it on the main. Or you can go the old-fashioned way, bring up the histogram tool and just whack away at it. Or bring up to your generalized hyperbolic stretch and whack away at it. Let's go ahead and execute that one just because I'll play with it. So now this will apply to the main image in the back. Will green disappear. It will be a stretched image here in a second. Close that out. There's our stretch. Now we can denoise it. I'm going to do the noise X because I know the other one's going to take a while. It won't be as pretty.
I thought in some of his videos, he said he didn't like to he wanted to do the denoising early in the process.
Yeah, I think before you I think it was before you do the sharpening or after just after the sharpening.
I thought
And it's usually
most
and
of it,
before you actually stretch it, but
well, it may or may not make any difference, or you do it both.
yeah, I mean, it started at 8:05, and then we can go to script, utilities. I usually use the reintegrate stars. There's my starless images. Where's my Paraband stars? And just click combine. And there's the stars and the other image to combine together. Now, I mean, you can do further processing stuff on it, or whatever you want to do. We want to do like your Astro depth image enhancer.
Yeah, let's see this.
So it's got a strength of 1.0. You can make it a little bit higher or lower. So if we go down to 0.54, refresh the view. So it's bringing a range mask and all that stuff in the background. You can do a range mask in the back. So it's kind of like darken this area around here a little bit and brighten this up a little bit. Or we can dump it up to like 1.23, refresh the preview. That's one thing I do like about this tool is you can sit there and play with the preview and over and over and over until you finally want to execute it on the screen. And it's, the blemish flash is the same. You can go through in the preview and select everything you want one at a time. Okay, and then you apply it to the image, and everything you've done, it will apply to that image. So now you've got a lot of the stars now been faded and it's brightened up this area. So everything else, it's looking at the main focus of the nebula to bring up, and then everything else kind of gets kind of dulled away. The default was 1.0 roughly. I've played with it a little bit, and I usually never apply it, to it, because to me it's like, sometimes it can look like it's getting a little too artsy.
Yep, I agree with you.
I think if you did like the strength effect below 1, it might be okay. This one here doesn't look like, that's strength of 1, so you get a little more of the background around over here done, but you still got a little brighter area there. Do I have any blemishes in this thing? And yeah, and this here is basically no flats, no calibration frames on this at all. There's like a couple streaks here. Let's see how well that works. Oh, it disappeared. I think maybe just the screen refresh. I don't think it's net any. Maybe I'm in the box. This is panel 3. Okay. I got a folder on here where I did the blemish blaster stuff on. And gets confused between the two computers. Yeah, so when you do the cosmic clarity, you got to download the zip file. You will unzip it. I do not recommend unzipping it within the program files PixInsight anywhere. If PixInsight upgrades itself, it'll disappear. So I have a separate area for Pix processing, Pix tools, and I put it there. So you unzip it, it creates this here. So these are the two external tools it uses. So it's got Cosmic Clarity and then Cosmic Clarity Denoise. And these are the libraries that it has, it's created. And this is a test image. So when you go to run it, it'll make a TIFF file. In the beginning, you actually had to tell it to save it as a 32-bit TIFF. That got past that point. It's never asked me. So it saves this TIFF file. It'll process the TIFF file. When it's done with it, it throws in the output folder over here. and then PixInsight script that's running will see it in the output folder and pick it up and bring it back. So it's kind of like a handoff thing. And if you're not accelerated really good enough, it will time out on you. And then what you do in the tool, you go to one of the tools, denoise, you'll click the little wrench here, and you'll give it the path to where it can find the denoise and stuff like that at when you say select folder. And you okay that. And then when you do the other one, it should already be there. It seems like it does both at the same time. So you click the wrench, you just give it the path to where your denoise spot's at. Let's run denoise on the thing. So we can do both stellar, non-stellar, so to do the stars and the background, stuff like that. Enable GPU. If you disable that, it'll probably never finish. So you want to make sure it's enabled. Click on it. Oh, missing. Non-existent directory. So cosmic clarity has started. So it's gonna do its magic. It'll update another window that should pop up. So it pops this little window up here. It'll go through and start processing. It does a lot of chunks of the file, so it does it in little pieces and goes to the whole thing. So using device CUDA, which is good because it's got CUDA cores. I think the notebook only has 7 or 68 of them. So it'd be nice to have 3,000 or so, 3,500 of them. Yeah, because a lot of times they go through, by the time it gets to the third pass, because it goes through each channel, red, green, and blue. By the time it usually gets to the midway through the last channel on my non-accelerated when it times out. I'm like, damn it. Now it reads the image, and it popped it back in. And let's do some denoise single channel. We have a level blank window. Great. It denoise it so good it's all white. How about that? I don't see any noise, do you?
No noise.
No noise. So yeah, it's one of these things that's to me it's been hit and miss on. I did it on one other image. It was able to go through and it did pretty good on it, but it took a while. The sharpening was the same way. It just the way he hands stuff off. I mean, he's got to create a TIFF file. He says it's a 30-bit TIFF in the input folder. What's really nice is you can do it without having PixInsight because you can actually use the tool manually. So you can actually take your image, save it as a TIFF file, and put it in that input folder, and then run that program directly. And it'll pick up what's in the input folder, process it, and put it out in the output folder. And you take what's in the output folder and put it back in whatever program you're using. So if you're using like Photoshop, you want to do that. Or if you're using Paint.net or even Microsoft Paint or whatever. That's one advantage with his cosmic clarity stuff. It's a little finicky. I think, once he gets more and more going on it, it was only in beta like a week or so ago. And so he's come a long way in a short time. So I'm pretty sure he's getting a lot of feedback on things not working too properly here and there. But what else do we got? Signature, I don't have a signature to throw in, but it's fairly self-explanatory. Flash blaster. Go kill something. Where am I at? What am I on? I'll have to apply the stretch correctly. On the stretch. Got the green cast on. So I'll just deal with this for the moment. Let's say we don't like this star here, whatever. We can do a circle. We can hold it. And then you can execute it here. We'll basically do it in the preview. If you hit apply to main image, it'll do it on the main image. So you can execute, gone. Don't even see it was even there. Undo, execute. So you can actually go through. So okay, I'm going to freehand it. Freehand these two down here. And execute. And so those did not too bad. Probably do a little more feathering on it. Yeah, I mean, so you can do this over and over and over. You could be in this all day. Let's say if we want to do it. I haven't tried to correct star. But yeah, so now they're going. So basically what it is when you draw a little circle, when you execute it, he's got 6 little regions he throws around it that you'd never see because it's all in the script that he's got. So he puts like 6 little circles around it, and he looks at that area in there to find out the best 3 that has the best signal to noise or what you're trying to get rid of, and then he'll map over where you've got circled with the 3 of those and kind of merge them all into one to get rid of. And you can do satellite trails. Satellite trails to me I had one that had an airplane that went through. It was a little finicky because it's drawing a straight line. You basically have to match the line from beginning to end to overlay your satellite. And basically, it looks like what it's doing is just erasing that line completely. It's like a single pixel line, or I got a 5 pixel width, so it'll go through and within 5 pixels of the middle of the line, so 2 on each side basically. Plus itself, it just basically removes it. I don't think it's trying to take what's on the outside of it inside it, because it looks like it's just like gone. So if you really zoom into it, you'll see like now it's not like a dark lane right there, it's a bright white lane. Let's get rid of the flame now. We can freehand and then we'll just go. So now let's see if it brings some of that star in this little area here. And the bigger area you do, the little bit longer it takes to do all that. And hopefully there's a lot of blank areas around that they could use to fill in the gap, get rid of the nebula itself. I mean, I've noticed when I was doing galaxies, getting close to the galaxies, like I was doing the dust bunny hunt, and I have one that's pretty much right near a galaxy. And when I try to circle it, it sees the part of the galaxy thinking that, oh, I need to copy that into that area. So next thing you know, I've got a double spot and got to get rid of that. So a lot of times you end up having to do a lot of little circles around it, kind of do the donut and chunks around to get rid of it. If it's out in free land by itself, nobody around it, I mean, those are easy. But if you got near the galaxy, it becomes more of a challenge. And I mean, I spent probably 2 or 3 hours one night on playing with this. I had one of my spaghetti nebula image I did a 10-minute shot of it and just going through, and it has like a bluish spotty blotchy spot, and I'm like, well, let me try that. So you can go through and you can basically you can perform it on all channels, let me pick the blue channel. I freehand around the blue area, clicked it, gone. Blue was gone. And I had red left over, so I picked red, do the same thing around it, freehand around it, click it, red was gone. Then I had the background there. Like, oh, I love that. So that didn't do too bad, and kind of where you don't really see the nebula that much anymore. Apply the main image. So it'll take whatever I've done in the preview. So if I've done 15 different things, it's going to apply all that in the back. And it's ready to remove. I figure what a green casting. But you get the point of it. Still got a little bit left. I mean, this is only a an hour, I think. Yeah, I did an hour on the horse and everything. Basically, get the RGB stars basically for this one's years in the last year before. So we've done quite a few of these. I mean, if you really want to go through the sharpening and denoise for cosmic clarity, you probably want to do a separate meeting on that to go through and spend a little bit more time with it.
Yeah, let's hold that.
Yeah, one thing we can do real quick is we can take a so it's got here we can do a red mask. This is just a PixInsight pixel mask script. That this here is a mask for all the red color. And now you want a green mask. What's it for? Barely. What's it pull on?
Are these icons you have there using the Seti-Astro,
No, this one here, these are just regular
your PixInsight?
pixel masks.
Oh, okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, this is just within pixel mask. So it's got a little bit of blue. This one's got a little bit of red, kind of like away from each other. So you got this little spot of blue right here. And now you got this red. So if you want to combine those, you can go to your Seti-Astro and you can do a mask merge. And we
Gotcha.
can do a red mask. We can add that to the blue mask and execute it. And it will create a new mask with both of them combined. So look at overlay. You barely see the blue spot that added to the red.
Yeah.
So you got no red, no blue in here. There's the blue right there because that was the blue mask. Then you can apply that and do whatever you want. And you can do it, up to 3 different ones. You can do different color combinations if you want. I mean, this is here just a red nebula basically. And you can also go through and do a freehand. The freehand shape, you get lasso tool, everything else you basically control and click to move the shape around. Alt click to drag and rotate. Right click, space bar, blah blah. Shift and click to drag and draw the shape. So we just mutilate it with that. Execute it. Close that, and there's our mask that we just had. We just circled the red area, and there's your mask. Yeah, it's ugly looking.
That's cool.
We can. I got a little mask blur, and I just keep dumping on it to blur it a little bit more and more, but it's pretty much so solid. But the edges of it get a little fuzzy. Just getting a little bit of blur to it. Yeah, I forgot who made these masks. Somebody, I can't remember who it was, but I ran across them and, oh, those are nice. Hang on to those. So to basically pull whatever color you got. And I've got a mask for red, yellow, green, cyan, blue, magenta. So if you want to get rid of your magenta star spots, you can put them in, hit the magenta a mask on it, and it'll take all the magenta color and make a mask out of it. And then you can go and apply it and mangle it to death, whatever. And what else? We have come on back. Object SNR, I mean, it pretty much just pops up, must define the target. So he wants a background preview first, and really he wants the background in the other. So we can just click here. You can use the other tool to find background, or we can just click here, and then we can go over here. But I think they have to be named. So target interest, we want to do preview 2, I guess. And the background is preview 1. Calculate SNR, and there it is. I mean, it's that one's that simple. This right there. What value you got? I mean, I never really deal with it. I don't think I've been looking at what's my signal to noise ratio.
Yeah, but Brian got me hooked on that a couple months ago, and that's what I used to determine how much. I did that last one was 45 dB. It really makes a difference.
Yeah. Pretty much, I think it's part of what I want to cover. I mean, the cosmic clarity, when we can do, just probably want another meeting to go through. That's probably going to take a little bit of time. I don't know if I got what's on my image completed running yet or not. This one is using the uses the Simbad libraries. So we can move that around. Just got no stars, so this would be kind of fun. Okay. And search. No stars in here, so that's gonna be kind of fun. As you can tell, there's a lot of stuff you can go pick and choose. You can probably spend all day going through this stuff to figure out what you want. A bubble, blue object. Maybe it'll help if I did the one with the stars. Things you don't think of until you do it. No astrometric solution on that one. So. Either way, we can cover that at another time because they're already at what 8:30 now.
Yeah, we need to wrap it up here. Given that when Steve and I did the mosaic, we took about an hour. So we're not going to add an extra hour on this tonight. And so we'll postpone until next month. John, this is an all-in-one. You can find out how all these tools work. The neat thing about it, they're free. And
yeah.
They do things that we used to struggle with. I used to struggle with.
And most of them, and all of them actually he's got a video. Some of them's got 3 or 4 videos. He's gone through the progress of this. Is now he just introduced the tool, like in beta. And now he's made a modification to it. He's done this improvement to it. Some of them you might see 3 or 4 videos on it. Some of you might just see 1 or 2. Some of you only see the 1. And so when you look at his webpage, I mean, you'll go through and it's got the video right there. You'll just click on it. You open in YouTube or whatever, just go right there, and it'll most of them are like 10, 15 minutes at most. And he'll go a little more in depth in the tool, what it's trying to do, and they got examples what he's trying as he goes through. So, like the continuum subtraction, I was trying to get my other box configured, get that set up to use the M33. He's got an example of M33 did. So he's got narrowband data and he's got the RGB data, and he's using narrowband data to find the pure H alpha and the pure O3. And then you can basically screen that into your main RGB image. So now it overlays in to show you the HA and the O3 regions within the galaxy itself. And because M33 does have a decent amount of O3 in there. A lot of people didn't know until I saw a little article and it's like, holy crap, there's quite a lot more than you think about. And when you really think about it, just about every type of most spiral galaxies will have all that in it. It's just that they might be too far away, fairly close. Like M51's got a lot of HA, and it's probably got some O3 in there. May not be as pronounced because you think about it, you're in a galaxy where you're sitting at right now. You're imaging a nebula, whether it's O3 or HA or a combination of both. Well, you're in a galaxy. Well, that makes the other galaxy will have the same. It'll have that type of data. You just got to do the time on it to get the data out, and then merge it all together to give it that better look to it. And what I did on my M33, I cheated. I basically I did 1 hour of my Antlia filter set to get HA and O3, and then I had 6 hours of RGB on the Galaxy using the L Pro filter, and I just put them all in PixInsight and let it combine it all together in one shot. I mean so I didn't do a separate process to get HA and O3, and it came out looking pretty good when it got done. So I was like, wow, it seems easier than going through those other crap of the continuum subtraction and add this and that. It looked pretty good, but I'm pretty sure it probably look better if I do the continuum subtraction and go through it all, which I'll probably do that here this weekend and stuff. But
Cool. John, thank you very much. This is a one-stop shopping for all the SETI tools. And
yeah,
let's old users of PixInsight, and the new ones get a lot of value out of this. Okay, well, given that, again, like I said, Steve and I did a practice run on taking Alberto's data, and we took a whole hour. So we're not, what we're going to do, we're going to postpone that till next month. And we'll start off with Steve in the WBB, and then we'll take it from there. I don't know what we did wrong at the beginning about the young lady that wanted help, and I guess we scared her from talking, or I don't know what with Brenia couldn't get on or whatever, but they were carrying on conversation while we were talking there. So we need to next time maybe draw them out a little bit better.
No, she put a note on here, Meryl, saying I need to head out. We'll note questions for next time. Thanks for the warm welcome.
Well, that was Kelly. That wasn't Brenda.
Oh,
So I mean, we just need to figure out how to make it. We're probably intimidating. I mean, so
right.
who knows? But we just this is what we're here to do is to help them, and we will make sure we do. So, okay, guys. I've got next month's agenda will be this primarily, and we were going to use a lot of the tools that you used. You've shown us how to do them effectively. So, anything else before we head out? No. Steve, you didn't have to rush back after all.
That's right.
Sounds like the Aurora's here.
Yeah, Brent posted something on the Slack channel. I'm going to go stop recording here. And
I don't think it's going to be that spectacular based on the preliminary images we see.
okay.